podcast.
All right, so we're diving into The Godfather Part II.
Oh yeah, a classic.
It's considered by many to be, well, one of the best sequels ever made.
Definitely one of them.
Some even say it surpasses the original film. But why is that? What makes this film so captivating and enduring? I mean, we're talking decades later, and people are still talking about it, analyzing it, and watching it.
Right, and what's fascinating about The Godfather Part II, it's not just like, going bigger and louder.
Right, it's not just more explosions or shootouts.
Yeah, exactly. It's how it dives into this whole other level, this deeper story about power.
Oh.
About ambition, about what the American dream really means, and it does that through these two narratives.
Two narratives, okay. So we're not just following Michael's story here.
No, not just Michael. So on one hand, you've got young Vito.
Oh, wow.
In the early 1900s in New York.
Okay.
An immigrant, just trying to make it, survive.
Right.
You see how he rises, how he comes to power.
I see.
But woven into that, you have Michael, decades later, dealing with the empire his father built.
So it's showing us the past and the present.
Yeah, like where the Corleone's power comes from.
Yeah.
And then what happens to that power later on.
Oh, that's so interesting.
And the brilliance of it is how you can compare Vito's journey and Michael's.
Right. They both face challenges. They both make difficult choices.
Exactly. But the way they approach things, their motivations, they're so different.
You know what I've always found interesting? Vito, even though he's the Don, he has this code of honor.
Right.
Like he valued respect. He kept his word.
Yeah.
And it seemed like he earned a different kind of loyalty because of it.
You're right. He understood that true power wasn't just about, force or intimidation. It was about connecting with people.
Yeah.
Building relationships, fostering community.
The community.
Yeah. And even in his world, upholding a certain code,
Okay.
a way of doing things.
And Michael, he's a whole different story, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Michael is smart, strategic, but he's cold, he's calculating, no hesitation, eliminates rivals. And you see it as the film goes on. He isolates himself.
Really?
Doesn't even trust his own family in the end.
And that's where the tragedy comes in, isn't it? I mean, he gets to the top,
Yeah.
but what does it cost him?
You hit it right there.
Yeah.
This is where The Godfather Part II becomes more than just a gangster movie.
Okay.
It's asking us about power, how it corrupts,
Yeah.
how chasing it can make you lose everything you care about.
Wow. I'm really seeing how this two narrative structure works.
It makes you think, doesn't it,
Yeah.
about some tough questions.
For sure. Like, where does real power come from?
Yeah.
Is it like Vito earning respect and loyalty?
Right?
Or is it Michael's way, ruling by fear and obedience?
And which one lasts longer?
Which one is better in the end, right?
Exactly.
That's a great question.
Yeah, and it sticks with you even after the movie's over.
Oh, it definitely does. For me, one of the most powerful examples of this contrast between Vito and Michael is that scene where, for me, one of the most powerful examples is that scene where Vito resolves the dispute with the tenant and his landlord.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's such a small thing,
Right.
but it says so much about who he is.
It's a really interesting scene, yeah. You have Vito, this powerful Don, and he's taking the time to listen.
To a simple tenant.
Right.
And he helps him out.
And he doesn't threaten anyone. He doesn't use violence.
Yeah.
Just a quiet word, a gesture of goodwill.
It's like he understands people.
Yeah, he earns respect by being fair.
And understanding.
Right. And it actually strengthens his position in the community.
It's the opposite of how Michael solves problems, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Like that scene, with the horse head
Oh, man.
sends a message for sure.
Talk about fear.
So brutal.
Yeah, effective but brutal. And you see it right there. Vito wouldn't have done that. That scene, though, it's just masterful.
Oh, yeah.
The way Coppola builds the tension,
So good.
the darkness, the slow reveal.
And the shock. I mean,
Oh, yeah, it gets you every time.
it's like he's saying, this is Michael's world now.
Right, where fear rules, where intimidation is the tool.
Both Vito and Michael, they get what they want,
They do.
but they go about it so differently.
Yeah, it makes you think, is there a right way?
a better way.
Yeah, which path actually leads to real power?
And it all ties back to the American dream, right?
Absolutely. Both Vito and Michael, they embody that dream.
They came from nothing.
Right, they rise to the top.
They have the power, the wealth,
But the film shows us the dark side of it, too.
what they had to do to get there.
The compromises.
Speaking of the American dream,
Yeah.
I'm curious about how the film shows the immigrant experience, especially with Vito.
Oh, it's definitely there.
It's not all sunshine and roses, is it?
No sugarcoating.
Yeah.
You see young Vito
Yeah.
coming to America, trying to escape poverty and violence.
Right. Trying to make a better life.
But he faces prejudice.
Yeah, he has to fight for everything.
He has to navigate a system that's not really built for him,
Right.
but he's resilient. He built a life for his family.
But in the shadows,
In the criminal underworld.
it reminds you, the American dream.
Yeah.
It's not always so easy to achieve.
It comes at a cost.
Sometimes you have to make tough choices.
Compromise your morals.
And that's Michael's story, isn't it?
Yeah, he's wrestling with his father's legacy,
You're gonna live up to it.
but his ambition pulls him in a different direction.
A darker direction.
And it all comes to a head in Cuba.
Oh, that scene with Fredo.
Heartbreaking.
The tension, the sense of betrayal, you feel it.
You see it on Michael's face, the struggle.
The love for his brother,
Yeah.
but also the cold calculation.
Coppola is a master of close-ups.
Oh, yeah.
He uses them to show you what's going on inside.
It's like you're right there with Michael,
And the shadows, the lighting.
creating that claustrophobic feeling,
It's like he's trapped
trapped by his choices.
by the weight of what he has to do.
And then he does it.
The ultimate betrayal.
And that leads us to that ending.
Oh yeah, that ending.
Michael, all alone by the lake.
Powerful stuff.
One of the most memorable endings in cinema.
Every time I see it, I get chills.
He has everything he thought he wanted,
Power, wealth, control.
but he's completely alone.
Like, it all caught up to him in the end.
All the lives he destroyed.
The price of ambition.
The film makes you ask, was it worth it?
Yeah, did he achieve the dream, or did he become something else?
A twisted version of his father.
A dark reflection.
That question has stayed with me for a long time.
Isn't that too?
But beyond the story, the characters,
Yeah.
The Godfather Part II, it's a technical masterpiece.
Oh, absolutely.
The cinematography, the editing, the music.
Mina Rota.
Oh, his score?
It's phenomenal.
It's not just background music.
No, it's part of the story.
It's like another character.
Remember that theme that plays during Vito's scenes?
Yeah.
It's melancholic, but hopeful at the same time.
It makes you feel nostalgic.
Like longing for something.
And then Michael's theme.
Yeah, so dark.
Ominous.
It's like the music is telling us what's going to happen.
Foreshadowing the tragedy.
The darkness underneath it all.
It's brilliant how Rhoda uses music to connect with the characters.
It adds so much depth.
You know, I read that Coppola didn't want to use Rhoda's music at first.
Really?
He thought it was too connected to the first film.
I can't imagine this film without it.
It wouldn't be the same.
No, it's woven into the fabric of the film.
And the cinematography,
Stunning.
the way Coppola uses light and shadow,
It's like painting with light.
creating these rich visuals.
Remember that scene in Cuba
Yeah?
when Michael confronts Fredo?
So dark.
Like the darkness is closing in on them.
Reflecting what's happening inside Michael.
Yeah, the darkness consuming him.
And then you have the scenes with young Vito,
In Sicily,
all that warm golden light,
that's beautiful.
representing his innocence, the hope he had.
Before he gets pulled into that world,
It's amazing how Coppola uses visuals to tell the story.
he's a visionary.
And we can't forget the actors.
Oh, the performances.
Al Pacino as Michael,
Iconic.
Robert De Niro as young Vito.
Amazing.
Pacino, he does so much with just a look.
You can see the turmoil in his eyes.
The way he shows Michael's descent into darkness.
It's mesmerizing.
In De Niro, he brings this quiet strength to Vito.
You can see how he becomes the Don.
Both terrifying and sympathetic.
And the supporting cast, they're all fantastic.
Diane Keaton,
John Cazale.
Robert Duvall.
They all create such memorable characters.
It's truly an ensemble piece.
It's one of the things that makes it so great.
There's so much to discover.
So many layers.
You know, they say The Godfather Part II is one of the few sequels that surpasses the original.
And I think they're right.
It's a film that's epic and intimate, tragic, and hopeful.
Brutal and beautiful.
It's a cinematic achievement.
It just keeps resonating with people.
It's more than just a gangster film.
It's about family, loyalty, ambition.
The American dream. The dark side of power.
It makes you think about the choices we make.
And what those choices cost us.
It stays with you.
Before we wrap up and talk about the film's legacy,
Yeah.
there's one more thing I think we should touch on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What else is there to uncover in this cinematic treasure trove?
Yeah. What else is there to uncover in this cinematic treasure trove?
We've talked about the characters, the themes, the technical stuff.
Yeah.
But what about how The Godfather Part II is really like a commentary on America itself.
Oh, okay, a societal
Well,
commentary.
think about it. The Corleone story, it's like this exploration of ambition.
Okay.
Individual ambition versus what's good for everyone. You know,
Right, right.
Vito, when he rises to power.
Yeah.
He's almost like this, like a benevolent dictator in his community.
A benevolent dictator.
I mean, he helps people, he settles disputes.
He offers protection.
Right, exactly.
There's that scene where he helps that lady get her furniture back.
Oh, yeah, the widow.
The movers were trying to rip her off. It's a small thing, but it shows you something
It does.
about Vito, about his sense of justice.
Yeah, and compassion.
Which seems kind of weird.
For a mob boss.
Right, but that's the thing about Vito's power.
It's paradoxical.
He's outside the law, but he has this code
Yeah.
that people connect with.
They feel like he's fair,
Exactly.
but that sense of community, that code,
It fades away when Michael takes over.
he's more about protecting himself,
Consolidating power,
getting rid of threats.
even in his own family.
It's like a reflection of what's happening in America,
Yeah.
moving away from community.
Toward this, like, everyone for themselves mentality.
And you gotta win no matter what.
The film seems to be saying that can lead to problems.
When you forget about ethics, about what's right.
Yeah, it can corrupt everything.
The Godfather Part II,
It's not just about gangsters.
that's about America.
about all of us.
The dreams, the compromises, the consequences.
For ourselves and for society.
This deep dive has been amazing.
Glad you enjoyed it.
I feel like I understand the film so much better now.
There's always more to uncover.
I'm definitely gonna rewatch it.
You should pay attention to those details.
Yeah, all those layers.
It's a film that rewards multiple viewings.
And to our listener, I hope this deep dive has given you a new perspective on this cinematic masterpiece. I think it's safe to say that The Godfather Part II is more than just a great film. It's a work of art that keeps us talking, keeps us thinking. And as we finish up, I'll leave you with this thought. What's the real cost of achieving the American dream? And are we willing to pay it?